And Twitter is under fire after two former Twitter employees are being accused of spying on behalf of Saudi Arabia. According to court documents, the Justice Department alleges the men snooped into thousands of private accounts and internal systems looking for personal information about critics of the Saudi government. The New York Times notes this case represents the first time federal prosecutors have charged the Saudis with deploying agents inside the U.S. I mean, guys, that's not a good look.
No,
regardless of if they're former employees.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Because we've seen this too as well. I mean, you think about the information these companies have. We've seen similar things play out with Facebook being used for nefarious purposes. And we talk about political pushes in other countries to kind of silence opposition. But when you're talking about tapping former Twitter employees to look up people in the U.S., that's a little bit different because you're doing it within a country and it's state-sponsored.
Yeah, well, I think it's funny because when you think of the word spy, you think of like a person like wearing a suit that's like infiltrating like Northrop Grumman and like stealing an F-16 or something like that. But yeah, spies in this era in 2019, I mean, it's all about the information world. And I would imagine that this probably won't be an isolated incident, right? This won't be the first time that we hear of spying from inside social media companies. But that's why it's so important to be talking about what should the responsibilities be on these social media companies to be kind of making sure that they are protected from what is a global risk. Keep in mind, it's not Twitter that's an American company that's, insulated through the borders of the United States. This is an international company. So is Facebook. So what type of due diligence should these companies be doing to be vetting their employees to making sure that they're not spies working as illegal agents for another country?
And the craziest thing about it, I think we talked about this before, Zach, is the people that we have in Washington that were asking to regulate these companies have no idea about the industry. They're clueless. They've never worked in these industries. They don't understand what's really going on behind all this AI and all this technology and the ability to really go in and seek information. They have no clue what they're even talking about. They don't even understand the language, and they're asking them to regulate for us.
What's even scarier, though, is when you think about the companies themselves. I mean, Twitter apparently didn't know that this was going on. So I mean, you're thinking about
they had no. They were
exactly.
Just like, what?
You wonder if even the companies themselves need to start thinking about, all right, what data should we be protecting? How do we safeguard some of this stuff? If people are actually spies, I mean, that's something that you don't really think about all the time. But if you have people within the company who are actually trying to locate your users for problems. I mean, we're talking about the Saudi government. That's a big problem when you think about what has been done to the opposition movement against the Saudi government.
Who else is doing it?
Yeah, or who else? I mean, that's country. And what we haven't seen yet either.